Hello friends, we continue from where we left off. In our other model, there was a gap in the ceiling part because I didn't cut this part, specifically where the terrace is. Friends, I modeled that part again. An arch will come in the middle part. The arch part will be like this. I will show that too, of our model, but in the arch part, or with different column techniques. If you encounter a different technique outside of this one, there is a small nuance there. There is a suggestion for resolution. I want to show that. Normally, let me erase this. I will show it again, friends. Let's say you lowered these types of columns, and these columns need to form an arch. It needs to make a connection with the other column. You can download this column from the warehouse. There are many models, friends. You can access them by writing Roman-style models, or by writing Roman-style columns in English. Now, to make an arch here, friends, I need to use this part in curve, loft, pull, gain. Now, there are some important details when using this. For example, I selected this. With the move command, I duplicated one using control, friends. I duplicated one while doing this. I want to make an arch from here, but the arch needs to be of this size. In other words, it needs to be the size of the layer on the arch. That's why I drew a line over this slab with line. Let me draw a line from here as well. Well, I took it from here and placed it there, friends. I'm deleting the line in the middle. The middle parts are important for me. That's why I drew these lines. I took my back tool. I placed a point from here with my back tool. I placed a point from here. Upwards. I drew and left it. And look at this back tool of mine. By setting the segment count to 60, I made it smoother, more like soft. Normally, if you set the segment to 10, it becomes square. It appears like a square. If you set it to 20, it's a bit more like soft, smooth. And if you set it to 30, it continues like this. 60 book is the softest state. Let's leave it at 30 as well. Now, I'm also deleting the references here, friends. The operation I'll perform is by holding down the control key. Look, now I'll do it. Let me delete this. I pressed control. I double-clicked. I selected the surfaces, and while holding control, I also selected this, friends. Then I clicked on the thing in the middle of the curve loft, the command, and it was completed. And to finish the command, after pressing the arrow key here, this process is completed. Look, it made the very soft into smooth. Now I see this as very soft, smooth, and reverse face. That is, it appears as a reverse surface. By saying reverse face, make sure to turn the white, because if you send it like this to the render engine, it won't render. Look, it made the very soft into smooth. If you want this to be more square, look, you select all of them. When you move this part a little to the right or left in the soft edge section, this part appears. Look, friends, as you can see, it's a situation like this. There is also a bevel command. I will add these to the plugin section anyway. You double-click. For example, when you select this line, look, it automatically selects itself anyway. You enter. You select the very first command of the bevel. Look, at this line or this surface, you selected the surface. Look, friends, when you move it forward or backward, it breaks the edge automatically. Look, I broke it. As you can see, you select this surface again, and you break an edge towards here again. Look, it breaks the edge perfectly. In this way, you can create arches like this, and you have the opportunity to play with the scale on it again. So if my hand has gone too far, you need to adjust it before making the rear tool. I will give you these today. You will use them anyway. I won't show you, friends, in the future to bring you a project solution proposal like this, because in such situations, you need to provide a solution like this. In our next lesson, we will continue from where we left off by making our own automatic, that is, simple belt. The measurements here are clear, 80 centimeters. These are 80 centimeters. These need to be 60 centimeters in between. We will continue by making those, friends.